Break the huddle, football fans. I'm Nathan. He's Patrick. We're coming at you to talk about the game of the week. The Logan Chieftains traveling to Pomeroy to take on the Meigs Marauders. Both of these teams have had a little bit of trouble so far this season. Logan 0-2, losing by a combined 5 points. So a tough couple weeks for them. Meanwhile, Meigs, losers of their first game, winners of their second game in a shootout. It was a crazy game for them in week 2. But in terms of week 3, both these teams trying to get on the playoff chase. What would a win mean for each of these teams?
Well, Nathan, as you know, it's never too early to start talking about the playoffs. And in terms of playoff contention, I think this 0-2 start for Logan is going to make it difficult for them to make a push later in the season. And Meigs, a team that I thought would make the postseason prior to this year, their defense hasn't been playing up to par in the first 2 weeks, so I'm not sure if they'll be able to get in either. And sometimes it's hard for these for players to get excited for these non-conference games. But with all that being said, this game is crucial for the confidence of both of these teams as they're getting ready to go into conference play. Even if they don't make the playoffs, a conference championship is certainly on their radar.
Right, and to do that, you got to start building wins. You got to, start from the top and then roll through the rest of the season. For Logan, they haven't won one yet, but they've been close. What do they have to do to get their first win this week?
Well, Nathan, if you were to tell me that the Logan Chieftains would be 0-2 after scoring 41 points per game, I would tell you that you're wrong and that you're ridiculous, because that's phenomenal offensive production. But the reason that the Logan Chieftains are 0-2 is because their defense has given up 43.5 points per game, and you just can't win when you give up that many points on the scoreboard. Now, the Chieftains, they have tremendous talent all over the field, but many of their key players play both ways, offense and defense. So I think once the fourth quarter rolls around, they're fatigued and they don't have the energy to get those stops that they need. So I think that Coach Burke really needs to get some fresh legs in there throughout the game, some substitutions, so that when the fourth quarter comes and they need that stop, they'll have the energy to get it.
Right, well, that's certainly a key for Logan, the defensive side. It's also a key for Meigs, because last week they allowed 69 points in a win. They won 79-69. Michael Davis filling the stat sheet. He accounted for 9 touchdowns in this game, Patrick, 9. That's unheard of numbers. There were all kinds of little tidbits of stats of the history of this game. It was remarkable. Obviously, a great week from him if you have him on your fantasy team. But in terms of this week, what can he do to repeat that production? And, Meigs has got to be looking for him to step up.
Well, Nathan, 9 touchdowns. You said that. I mean, that's just unheard of. That's ridiculous. I would tell you that those are video game-like numbers, but to be honest, if I were to play Madden right now, there's no way I could score 9 touchdowns with anybody. So that's just a game that he'll never forget. And I expect that Meigs will lean on him heavily throughout this game against Logan, whether it's running between the tackles or a sweep to the outside or maybe a toss out to the flats and let him go make a play. He's going to be a big part of the offense this week against a struggling Chieftain defense. Now, I don't think he'll score 9 touchdowns again, but I guess you never know. But I think he is still going to have a very good game this week.
You might mention Michael Davis on the runs, on the receptions. He also had a passing touchdown in that game, so maybe he can get it done under center as well. So it's going to be really interesting. It's probably going to be an offensive showdown. How do you see this game playing out?
Well, if you or anyone think that this is going to be a defensive battle, you're absolutely kidding yourself, because these two teams both average over 40 points per game during these first 2 weeks. It's going to be a shootout. There are explosive athletes all over the field. Quarterback Lane Little for Logan and Chance Cox on the offensive end, and then Michael Davis, as we talked about, for Meigs. So there is going to be no shortage of offensive firepower, but I think the winner of this game, whoever makes the most defensive adjustments and makes the most plays on the defensive end in the second half, is going to win this game.
Well, naturally, definitely it's going to be a shootout, but I definitely need you to give me a winner in this one and a score prediction.
Like I said, it's definitely going to be a shootout, and I don't know, Nathan. I think it's going to be pretty close. Both of these games for Logan have been really close. So I'm going to say that Logan is going to go in there to Meigs and pull out a victory, 42-35.
Well, there you go. Patrick Klinger, the Logan alum, picking Logan in this game. Regardless, great homework, and thanks a lot for your stuff. If you want to catch the shootout, check it out on our show Friday night at 11:30 on WOUB. We have that game, and we have several other games highlights as well. You can check it out. It's going to be a lot of fun. And if you can't get enough football until then, you can check us out on the web at woub.org/sports/gridiron. We got game recaps, features, previews, and a whole lot more than that. That's all on the website, and then you can can check us out on social media as well. Facebook and Twitter at Gridiron Glory. Use the hashtag GridGlory to join the conversation. You can also follow my Twitter host account at gghost_Nathan and the WOUB Sports Instagram account to continue to join the conversation. But until Friday night, I'm Nathan Takitch with Patrick Klinger, reminding you there's nothing better than Friday nights and Gridiron Glory.